Okay, I haven't shot anything in a long time. As some of you know, but probably not all of you know, I am pregnant and I'm about a month away from my due date. And before I have this baby and before, in case it comes too soon, which I hope it doesn't, I was like, I gotta shoot a video about this whole story and like what I actually think about being pregnant. One thing I don't want to do is add to the, I don't know. The one thing that like has kind of bothered me about being pregnant is just like all of the information that's out there about it. And I haven't paid much attention to that at all because I feel like with everything I do, I don't listen to what everyone else says really. Like the only other example I can think of that comparison with would be like when I was making my first cookbook. I was getting all kinds of advice from people and like other people who had done it before giving me information, and I kind of was always like ignoring it, like, okay, yep, that's nice to know, but like that was your experience, it's not going to be mine. And I think that's really, really true when it comes to being pregnant. I mean, I don't know, I've never been pregnant before, but it does seem like everybody's story is so different, everybody's pregnancy is so different, and so to feel like it's supposed to be a certain way is like a really big theme, I think, of what you will find out in the zeitgeist or on the internet. And then you start playing that comparison game. And I think like this whole pregnancy, motherhood realm is like the biggest area in which women, start to feel shitty about themselves because they think it's supposed to be a certain way. And I think there's just so much pressure when it comes to that. So I don't want to add to that. Hopefully that's not how this video comes across, but this is more just to kind of let you guys all in on what I've been experiencing. As you can tell, it's hard for me to like talk and breathe at the same time. So that's been an interesting thing as well to deal with. So I found out around week 7, and then I was nauseous and had morning sickness, which is not just happening in the morning, all the way until about the end of week 23, early week 24. So that's like half the pregnancy. That's just the tail end of the second trimester. So I had a really shitty beginning. I had like a week, like when I found out I had like a week or two of like, all right, I'm pregnant, like, and I felt kind of normal. I didn't feel pregnant. Then the sickness kicked in and it was like awful. I mean, just imagine like having the flu or COVID or something, but like lasting a lot longer. That's what it was like. When you're nauseous and you don't know if you're gonna throw up, and you're kind of like anticipating it, that's like the worst feeling. It's the worst sort of way to exist in the world. You can't do anything. So, from the beginning, I knew I wasn't gonna like talk about being pregnant, and I was gonna keep it kind of hush for a while, at least until I felt comfortable, kind of knew it would stick. And I don't know. I think like at the beginning, I really didn't want to talk about it at all. I even thought I'm not gonna talk about it at all. I didn't think I'd get to this place, but I did. And once I started feeling better, that was when I was like, okay, I kind of do want to share the news and I kind of do want to like reveal it. But I tried to do it subtly anyways and not overload the internet or the Instagram with like every week a pregnancy belly photo or something like that. I just wanted to keep it minimal. So I think if you follow my Instagram, I posted it around New Year's. I think it was New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. I posted that I was pregnant, and this is a pregnancy that we were trying for, and I ended up only trying twice and got pregnant. So that's one of those stories people who don't want to hear, who are having trouble. Obviously they don't want to hear that, but that is what happened to me. So it is. So I thought it would take me like a year to finally get pregnant. I thought I'd have more time, but then it happened really quickly. And I'll try to link some videos below from in the past. If you've been following these vlogs for the last however many years, I've talked a lot about how I didn't want to have kids and all the reasons why, but also talked about, and I didn't watch these recently, so I don't remember exactly what I've been saying, but even referencing how it felt like maybe I would or should have a kid, like it felt like spiritually that was something I would eventually get to a point where it made sense, and that did happen. And it can't be planned. It was very out of the blue, actually like more like an epiphany, to make that decision to actually have a child. So that happened in like May of last year, and then yeah, tried in June and then tried in July, and then July was the one that stuck. And funny enough, the baby was conceived on the exact same day that we got Stevie, my new dog. So the day they dropped her off, the rescue dropped her off, was the day that the baby was conceived, which I do find kind of odd and interesting and amazing. So I guess whenever those floodgates open, they open. You get a new dog, you get a baby, here we go. So anyway, let's go back to what I actually think about being pregnant. I think at the very beginning, and even still this whole time, it's been kind of like you're having an out-of-body experience, even though it's something that's happening within you, and it should be very obvious. You know, I felt like I wasn't in my body. I felt like, and I still feel like, a vessel. I feel like kind of a shell of myself. And I'm just a host. It's like very alien-like. I'm just hosting this other life. Every single ounce of energy, nutrients, cells, brain power, whatever, is going to this baby and depleting me of any kind of usefulness is what it feels like. I had a really hard time with that at the beginning. Well, I observed that was happening, and then it was kind of like, I don't really like this, but I guess that's the point. There's an incredibleness and kind of like this amazement of what is happening to your body. You know, and I did watch some like pretty scientific videos of like what's happening at each stage in terms of the baby's growth and all this stuff. And of course, I'm regularly going to ultrasound appointments, so you kind of are constantly checking in, and like I'm sure like a lot of mothers already know, you kind of are following like, oh, what fruit is the baby now? Because it always compares it to like a size of a fruit. So that's, you know, that part's kind of like interesting and fascinating, but at the same time you feel like very disconnected to it, or I did anyway, even though it's happening within you. I haven't felt like super connected to this other human. And that's been a point for me of like, okay, well, I'm supposed to be feeling more connected to it. I keep calling it it, but it is a boy, or has a penis. We'll see what happens in the future. Yeah, I haven't felt like connected to it. Like it's just like a foreign body, basically. So that's been, I guess, just sort of weird. Also, your brain is like so dead that you like don't even care. Like you're kind of not thinking about anything all the time. Like, and I go back and forth between like, am I being present or am I checking out? Like, I don't know. Like, am I disassociating or am I just super present to like what's happening? And I think being sick for so long created that a little bit, because it was like, you know, it feels like you're like rejecting the whole thing, even though they say, and I think this is just a myth, that like if you're really sick, it means, you know, it's a healthy pregnancy. I don't know that there's any science to that, but it's just something people say to make you feel better. But because you feel so sick, like you're rejecting this thing, this foreign body, I think that's where I lost a lot of connection. Whereas I could see if you had a very, you know, if you felt fine and you were eating great stuff and you were exercising, you had energy, you might feel a little bit more connected to the baby at the beginning. But I definitely didn't, and kind of still don't. Like, I'm a month away, so he's moving a lot, which is cool. It's also very uncomfortable half the time because he's kicking my bladder. So going pee all the time is pretty annoying, like especially at night. You have a hard time sleeping because I am peeing like literally 7 times in the night. Yeah, my feelings about being pregnant are kind of like on the flat side. I feel like a lot of people have been like, oh, you seem like yourself, you seem normal. And I think I am for the most part. Or I'm good at presenting like I'm fine. But it has been like pretty hard because you feel like you just don't feel like you, and you feel like, I don't know, you feel like I'm brain dead, I can't even talk, right? Like you just feel like that. You're kind of just like, I feel like I'm checked out and I'm just like going through the motions. And like, I don't know, because again, there's this sort of thought like, oh, I should be more excited or whatever. I'm not excited, but I'm also not one to like get excited about things. I just sort of play like logical, realistic. I don't really get like, I don't know, I don't really get like amped up excited about stuff, like anything except maybe like good vegan food. And then yeah, so then I was actually, after I had like 3 good weeks of not being sick around Christmas, and I was like eating whatever I wanted, and I thought this was the part of pregnancy I was looking forward to. Like, okay, I'm eating donuts, I'm eating like pasta, I'm eating whatever I want, like eating for 2, this idea that you can indulge more. And I did. And then I got back from Christmas holiday, and on my checkup after that, they're like, oh, you have gestational diabetes, because you go for these sugar tests. So gestational diabetes is like diabetes you have like just while you're pregnant, and then it goes away after. So one, I was like really pissed off because I was like, I'm vegan, how the hell do I have diabetes? And then like everyone, if you've had this before, you get really upset at yourself because you think, oh, it's my fault, blah, blah, blah. And there's all this narrative. And then they try to tell you, the doctor, like, it's not your fault, this and that. There's nothing you could have done. And, you know, you just have a lot of hormones going through your body, and those hormones are preventing you from making insulin. And therefore your blood glucose levels aren't coming down fast enough after you eat. So you have to watch what you eat, and you have to exercise. And I, of course, didn't exercise at all from the very moment I found out I was pregnant, because I was tired and sick and like not motivated to do that at all. And so the only thing I started doing after I found that out was just like sort of walking more and kind of portion controlling and doing that stuff. So I would say like there was probably 3 weeks of that like making me angry. And then now at this point, I'm still monitoring my blood sugar, and it's like not that big of a deal. And I haven't really changed what I eat all that much. Like I definitely am not eating as many sweets as I would like, but I still am eating some. As long as I eat like a proper meal beforehand, like salad and stuff, and lots of vegetables and fiber, then I'm like able to have like a small treat or like a piece of something. So it hasn't felt too much like deprivation. And there's definitely times where I like want to eat more because I'm hungry, but like I can't. I have to like keep the portion smaller, go on a walk, measure my blood sugar, and then kind of just like wait a couple hours, and then I can have a snack. So on top of everything else you're dealing with, you know, that's kind of something just that's been just another thing I have to deal with, which again is kind of annoying because you just feel like you're dealing with a lot of stuff when you're pregnant. I hopped on here not knowing what I was gonna say. This is just like a stream of thought. Definitely there was a point where like I felt like my hormones weren't at play, like they weren't making me that moody. And I kind of felt like other than being sick, I like, obviously I'm not menstruating, and so I don't have PMS, and I haven't had any migraines. Also, I quit drinking coffee, so I don't know if it's the coffee or if it's the pregnancy hormones making me feel better. And then as soon as I had said, I don't think the hormones are affecting me, like at the beginning of the 3rd trimester, I started like getting really PMSy and really irritable and very impatient. And it's like, I just don't have patience for anything. And everything's kind of annoying or irritating or angering. So I have only recently kind of started to meditate again, but I haven't meditated almost this entire pregnancy, maybe like a handful of times. It hasn't been a tool that I've gone to. I kind of again like just like checked out, because it just feels like all you can focus on is this, and like, do I feel comfortable now, and what do I need now, and do I eat now, do I drink now, and like that's all you're thinking about. And so I've had to kind of get back into meditation now because it's getting harder. The fear is elevated of obviously giving birth, and just the stress of like everything you have to get and put together and prepare for and learn and blah, blah, blah. So what do I really think of being pregnant? I don't think I have like a definitive final thought on this. I think it's definitely, you know, one of the hardest things to go through as a woman. And you definitely don't feel supported, really. I mean, I didn't seek out a lot of support. Like I don't have a midwife or a doula or anything. I'm just going hospital, epidural, like get it over with, you know, standard procedure. hopefully. I think even if you had any of this, you would still feel kind of alone because you're the only one dealing with whatever you're dealing with, and what you're dealing with is so unique to you. So it doesn't necessarily help to be like talking to other pregnant ladies. I have a little bit, like I run into people at the park when I'm with the dog, or like people in the street or whatever, like when you're at the store, they start talking to you. But you still feel pretty like isolated, and like you're just dealing with it on your own because nobody can understand what you're experiencing. So that's just, I guess, par for the course, but that's been like a hard thing. And I'm also like very independent, so I don't necessarily care to have anyone. I don't know what support actually looks like, if I'm being honest. So anyway, that's just like my personal journey. I mean, I don't regret it. I'm certainly not like, it's not so bad that you're like, oh, I wish I didn't do this. You know, I made a choice to have a child later in life. Like, I'm turning 40 this year, and like I'm gonna see it through. And I honestly don't think beyond this. Like, I can't even wrap my head around what happens once the baby's here and what we do. I mean, we just put in the car seat, we've got the baby stuff ready to go, but like our whole life was like blown up a few weeks ago because a car crashed into our house, so we had to like relocate and move and bring stuff with us. And anyway, I can't think far ahead. Like, I don't even know what happens next, so I can't speak to that. This is simply just about like being pregnant. I can tell you right now, I don't want to do it again, and I won't do it again. One and done. It's just, I don't know, it's not worth it. One thing I will say, it's kind of fun, is that at this stage and in the third trimester, since I was feeling good and I had energy and I kind of started feeling a little bit more like myself, and I have kind of like a cute bump and like, it's been sort of fun to sort of like have people look at you like a precious spectacle. Like, everyone gets excited when they see you, or like you're out in public and people are like definitely like acknowledging you and being like, you go, or like whatever. And so I've noticed that in the last couple weeks. I think just because I look so funny, I'm so small, and then my huge stomach is sticking out. So it's kind of fun when people are like excited to see you. Like, it's a bit like when I see like dogs in public and I want to pet them. It's a little bit like that. And the other surprising thing was, even early on, I think I started showing really early. So people, like, definitely strangers, like, say not the craziest things, but they just are very like forthcoming, and like they like to talk about you being pregnant, and they want to know the sex of the baby, and they want to know how far along you are, or they want to guess the sex of the baby. And like, I don't really care. I think like societally, people have become way more like, obviously, overly sensitive about stuff like this. Like, don't say anything and don't touch the belly without asking, and like, sure, respect people's boundaries and whatever. Like, I don't really care. You can't really offend me. So I've sort of truthfully maybe liked that attention, because you feel so shitty, but at least like from the outside looking in, people are looking at you like you're this like great thing because you're carrying a baby. So that kind of makes you feel better when you're feeling like, oh, like this lump of flesh. So that part has been good. I don't like that I can't talk and breathe at the same time, and like I definitely have a hard time doing stuff. Like, it's made me very immobile. You know, like even before this stage, like there's been a long time where I can only go on like 10-15 minute walks. It's like very strenuous. So for me, I haven't been doing like exercising. Like, I see these people on Instagram like lifting weights and doing all this crazy stuff while they're pregnant, and like, good for you, but like I don't understand how that's working, because like it does not work for me. But I'm looking forward to going back to yoga when I'm not pregnant. And I guess that's it. I won't be showing the baby on social media, so that's one thing. And I guess we'll just see where it goes. Right now, I'm like really not focused on work at all. It's kind of impossible. There's some stuff I have to get done before the baby comes, all behind the scenes, but like, I'm not focused on, you know, making content and like doing a bunch of stuff. So I'll probably be taking even more time off, and then who knows when I'll be back. In the meantime, it's probably best that you just follow on Instagram, because I'm sharing more stuff on Instagram, you know, off the cuff than I will be here, which has been this way for a while. As you know, I haven't even been on this channel for, I guess the last thing I posted was the Portugal vlog. So that's it. I am still planning a getaway in Bali in October, and baby may or may not be with me. Hopefully Mike and the baby can come on the trip, but this is with the Getaway Co. I'll put the link below if you want to check out the details in the itinerary. It's a trip that you pay for, so you pay for the trip. It's all planned, curated, vegan meals, everything. It's amazing and magical. You can watch my 2019 vlog about Live with Purpose 2019. So this is Live with Purpose 2022. It's going to be awesome. So go reserve your spot. We have a few spots left, although it has been selling pretty quickly. So if that's something you think you want to do later this year, because you're ready to travel and ready to get out of the house, then I would love for you to join, and you might get to meet my baby if you're there, depending on how all of our schedules work out, and hopefully they can come too. At that point, he'll be 6 months old, so that will be pretty crazy. I'm also planning on traveling when he's 3 months old. So we'll see how that goes. That will definitely be something I talk about probably. Okay, I gotta go. Can't breathe. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. That's all. Okay.